Thank you. Thank you to you for listening. Every one of you. I don't care if this is your first episode. I don't care if this is your last episode you will ever listen to. I don't care if you've listened for 100 episodes. Thank you. None of this would be possible without you guys.
You are now tuning in to the Roughnecks podcast with your host, Cole Nixon. Much love.
One last thing before we get into today's episode. A lot of people ask how they can support the podcast. Well, I have a couple easy ways. The first way is just listen and subscribe. And another thing you can do is go follow the Roughnecks podcast on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube as well. If you get something out of today's show, then do me a favor, share it with a friend. If you really want to go above and beyond to support the podcast, then head over to roughneckspodcast.com and get you some of that merch. I appreciate all of the support, but let's get into today's episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Roughnecks podcast. And today is the day. We have made it a long, long way. And it is obviously the 100th episode of the podcast. I cannot believe that we are at episode freaking 100. You know what that means, though? I've been talking about it. I've been teasing it. I even posted on the Instagram a little bit about it. But we have limited edition stickers out today. They will be out in about an hour from this episode being released, which is 4 p.m. Eastern time. They will be out on the website live for you to go buy. You can go get them, or you can go get 1, 2, 3, however many you want. But there's only 15 of them. And when they sell out, they sell out. There will only be 15 made ever. So if you want one, you need to go get it now on the website, or sorry, in about an hour if you're listening real time at 3 o'clock. But go grab yourself one. There's some pretty cool stickers. They're unique. They're different than any other sticker that I've done. But yeah, so go get yours now if you would like to support and be one of 15 people that have the limited edition Roughneck stickers. But we are on to episode 100, and the first thing I need to say is thank you. Thank you to you for listening. Every one of you. I don't care if this is your first episode. I don't care if this is your last episode you will ever listen to. I don't care if you've listened for 100 episodes. Thank you. None of this would be possible without you guys. If it wasn't for you guys listening to this podcast, it wouldn't be anything at all. You guys are the reason that I keep going with this podcast. You guys are the reason that I get to have some awesome conversations with some very awesome people on this podcast. You guys are helping me build my connections because you guys are the reason that I keep going. You guys are what I do it for. You've helped develop my passion for podcasting and, putting content out there for everybody. So I appreciate you guys all for helping out and just listening. I appreciate everyone who's bought some merch over the past, 4 months, but we'll get into that in a minute. But, back in September of 2020, it's almost been about 2 years ago, coming up on 2 years in September. But that's when this podcast started. I think it was September 21st, somewhere around there. That's when this podcast started. Me and Teddy actually had a podcast before this. So this was not our first podcast. We had a podcast. Some of you have heard this story if you've been following for a while. Some of you might just know it from knowing me. But me and Teddy had a podcast together, and it was called Fan Speak Sports. There might be some stuff still out there, but it was strictly about sports. We talked a lot of football, pretty much, because we're both football guys. We played college football together. We're roommates, and we had that podcast, and it was pretty bad. To be blunt, it was pretty bad. It was not a very good podcast, but we ended up, it was right before COVID hit, and then so the sports world shut down. We didn't have very much content. We weren't professional analysts or anything, so we didn't have much to talk about. And I mean, to be honest, I think we kind of didn't enjoy it too much. I mean, we had fun with it, but it wasn't like how I feel about this podcast. Let's put it that way. But as we've talked on this podcast a lot, that taught me a lot about, that failure taught me a lot. It taught me how to grow. It taught me how to succeed and like what not to do, what not to do. And I still don't consider this podcast a complete success. There's still a long way for it to go, but we're definitely on a good path, and I appreciate everyone who's been helping out. But um, so I remember sitting there one day hanging out with Teddy, and we were sitting there hanging out, and I looked at him. I was like, "Hey, you want to start a podcast again?" And he's like, "You want to start fan speak back up?" And I was like, "Nah, I think that one. I think we get rid of that one, and we kind of go off of something where it's we don't have a set topic per se, and kind of more the Joe Rogan style, I guess, is what you want to call it. If you just have anybody and everybody, you have conversations about anything and everything. Now, this podcast is a lot more. Yes, we try to give advice and life help and whatever. And not all of them are super motivational. Some of them are just like cool conversations with cool people, but some of them are very motivational, and we kind of have a good balance. And some of them, like as you guys have heard, we've done two of them now, and we got a third one coming this month, I believe. Yes, it would be May 27th. Yep, holding my beer number three, and I got a good one for that, trust me. But yeah, so we have some drinking episodes. We have Fast Fridays, we have quick episodes, we have 2 hour long episodes. We had one that went two parts. Like this, it's gotten a lot more. But we decided to restart because we didn't want to have a topic, and we recorded that first episode. I will never forget this day. We recorded that first episode sitting on his couch at his apartment, townhouse, whatever it was, sitting there with my laptop, and that was it. No script, no mics, nothing, no plan really. We just kind of introduced ourselves, and that is to this day one of our most top played episodes. I believe it's like third of all time, which is crazy. Tyler Schuster is still the top episode of all time. I'm looking at it right now. I don't know exactly how Schuster is the top episode of all time, but hey, good for Schuster, I guess. We'll have to somebody has to break that. We're getting close with a few. But we recorded that first episode, and we did a few episodes, and we're staying with the weekly basis. We were having one a week, and trying to stay consistent with things. And then Teddy unfortunately had to step away from the podcast. He and no hurt feelings. I still love Teddy. I still talk to him pretty often. He's like a brother to me, and he just got too busy, and it just was the best thing for him. And then with his career, he couldn't really keep going with it, so he decided to step away, and I just ran with it. I just kept going with it. Honestly, that was in like single digit episodes. I think Teddy was on. He was on episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7, and I'm pretty sure that was it. That was the end of the Teddy journey. And I just ran with it myself for the rest of the time. But I kept working on it, and eventually somebody, I still to this day have no clue who did it. I have an idea, a very good idea of who did it, but I'm not completely sure who it was. And but somebody gifted me my first microphone. I still have it. I can't. I've upgraded, two or three times since then, but I can't bring myself to get rid of it because it's the first one that I've ever used. I'll probably gift it to somebody just like it was gifted to me. But I got the toner microphone. I think it was a toner TC30 or yeah, TC20, something like that, which was a great starter mic. I was all hyped because I'd never had a microphone before. I always used, my headphones as like, the Apple headphones, and that's what I just used. And but we got to upgrade a little bit, and then that has evolved now to microphone arms, two microphones, headphones, soundboard. Like if you go look on the Instagram or the TikTok, you'll see like the in-person episodes that we've done with the the new setup, and it's awesome. The mics are awesome, and trust me, it's got a long, long way to go. I'll keep getting better and better at it, but and then that eventually, moved on the merch. I started out with some stickers. The first, I'll never forget getting that first batch of stickers from Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, Teddy's lovely girlfriend. She is an amazing lady. She no longer does my stickers, but still love you, Sarah. She made my stickers for a hell of a deal. I couldn't complain. As a broke college kid, I was very thankful to have somebody helping me out, saving me a little bit of money here and there. And eventually, we just kept growing, and then we had t-shirts, we had koozies, we had wristbands, we have all kinds of stuff at this point. But that first sale, I'm pretty sure I just sold t-shirts and long sleeves, and that was it. And some stickers, and maybe I had some, I think, oh yeah, stickers, t-shirts, and long sleeves, I'm pretty sure was all I had. And I had, like 10 people maybe get something. And but like those 10 people, like, you have no idea how thankful I was for you to those 10 people that bought some of the merch right off the bat. I really appreciated it. It made me feel very like this podcast was actually worth something. And like, but March 2021 did that first order, and it was a pre-order. That was the thing, is I would take the order, take your money. You would have to trust me with your money, and then I would put the order in after a week. And Chase, shout out Chase Custom Designs, who used to make my shirts. She would go make my shirts for me and get them back to me as quick as she could, and I'd go and hand them out to everybody. And that's how I did it for a long, long time, from September or March of 2021 to that whole year. Every sale I did, that's what I did. And I'd even shipped some to North Carolina, some to freaking, I don't even know where else. I just remember the two I shipped to North Carolina, Florida. I've shipped them all over the place. Did it all myself. I even lost some money on some because I didn't account for the shipping. But you make those mistakes, what do you do? You know, eh, and then this year, the first, or I don't even remember, it was like the second day of the year, the website dropped, and now there's so much new merch, new designs, just more options available, different colors coming. And now you place the order and it comes straight to your house. And I know some of you who may be looking at the website, who have been following me since the beginning of time, may have noticed that, the prices are up compared to when I first started. But there's a reason for that, because I do have to cover more expenses now. I have a website. There's a lot more overhead than there was originally, which I love. I'm very happy, and I wish I could get it to you guys cheaper, but I do have to make a little bit of money to help pay for this as well. But the website, and also I have, there's another sale coming, I believe, next month. I will have that. That is the summer drop. I do not have the date for that yet, but we will have a sweet summer order. I'm actually wearing one of the shirts right now that will be on that sale, but be tuned. It's actually on the Instagram. You guys just got to go look. But and then we moved all through our episodes to, I'm recording a lot of episodes in person now. And it's crazy to me that I can sit with somebody and have a conversation with them as they're sitting beside me. It's no longer on a Zoom. We no longer live in this Zoom virtual world. Like, some of them I still do on Zoom because due to distance factors, but it is awesome to be able to sit and record with somebody while you're sitting right beside them. But none of this would be possible without you guys. You guys are the reason that I'm able to do that. And I just want to take a trip down memory lane real quick and, highlight some of my guests that I really want to say thank you to. I guess I will give, I'll give Ikley a shout, or I'll give Schuster a shout out first. Shout out to Schuster for having a top episode of all time so far, that will be taken over. Um, Shout out to Ikley for being the first ever guest on the Roughnecks podcast. He's actually been on here twice, but thank you, Ikley, for being the first ever guest. That was an awesome episode. It was a 23-minute episode, which is crazy because, like, I felt like I had to force a conversation because I didn't know what to say. But now, 2 hours into the episodes, I don't know when to stop. Shout out Chris Bonner for always supporting the podcast and always being willing to come on. I want to give a shout out to Trevor Scott, owner of, he runs, founded and runs, I believe, Apex Fitness, awesome gym. here in the Central Ohio area, the Licking County area, if you're looking for a gym, please hit me up. I will get you hooked up there. Shout out Carter Franklin, who's been on this podcast 2 times and will probably be on 2 times this year if I had to guess. Got a lot in store for him. Me and him have been in contact about getting on here, and he does awesome things. Makes awesome episodes. Love talking to him. Matt Barnes, works for NBC4. Thank you for taking the time out of your guys' busy day or your busy day to come on here and give me have a conversation with me. Trevor Garber, for always trying to push me to be better and always helping me and coming on the podcast. I really appreciate people like him. Lindsay Kara Stencil, I was very excited to record with her, and I had some technical difficulties, but we got the episode recorded, and I'm just thank you for taking the time out of your day. Those were awesome episodes. These are some of the awesome episodes that I've done so far. Jermaine Fraser Phillips, big up, brew. I got big things coming with them. Just be on the lookout. Hayden Adcock. I'm just gonna give a shout out to all of the EE team who's been on so far and Granger Smith team. Hayden, who is the director of marketing for EE. Wow, I'm struggling with that EE today, but he's the director of marketing for EE Apparel, and I literally I think I scared my roommate because I was in college when he said yes to coming on, and it was an awesome episode to be able to record with him. Another guy that was awesome to record with was Chris Lee, who's Granger Smith tours manager, and I got to meet him at a concert after we were already recorded, and along with Butch and Bull of Risky Business, who are the bus drivers and have their own YouTube channel, Risky Business. Also, their merch is awesome. Highly recommend it. But I want to give a shout out to those guys, and they just had a hell of a party at the Yee Farm last week. So looked like a great time. Hopefully one day you guys will let me be a part of that. I don't know. I'm not inviting myself or trying to invite myself, but that'd be an awesome time. I would love to meet up with a lot of you guys that are out there. Everything you guys do out there is awesome. Joe Delagrave, I'm very happy to have him on. Silver medal award winner or silver medal winner, and I believe he just got the coaching job. Is now the coach for the Paralympic rugby team USA. Shout out to him. Shout out to Caleb Scott, Jesse Beachy, Teddy, those kind of guys who they've been on this podcast multiple times, and they're some of my biggest supporters of the podcast. I really appreciate them doing that. It means a lot to me. Jesse has bought, I believe, every piece of merch that I've released, so I appreciate him for that. I love those guys. CJ Saunders was a very cool and interesting episode. Walk on at Ohio State, who is now playing for the Carolina Panthers. Awesome guy, awesome story, awesome content. Great episode. Highly recommend that one. That's episode 43. Dustin Myers for taking the time out of his busy day. Owns, founder and owner of Old School Gym. Awesome guy. Great episode. Carly Rogers, the up and coming country artist who took the time out of her day to record with me. That was an awesome experience as well. Kyle Chaney, love that guy. Love his stuff. Love what he does. Yeah, side by side racing. He's got a lot going on, to be honest. But King of Hammers, back to back champion. Adelaide Aquila, Olympian and big time champion and NCAA champion. Shout out to her for coming on the podcast. Dirty Prescott Kids. If you haven't listened to any of Dirty Prescott Kids music, go look it up. I highly recommend Ray Jen or Own Team. Coach Severino and Coach Watts, two of my coaches, my high school coach and college coach, football coach, two of the most biggest influences on my life. Highly appreciate them. They're awesome awesome guys, and that definitely helped shape me into who I am today. So I truly do appreciate them for that. I want to give a big shout out to Dante Fair. He has made all of the music for this podcast, and I did not get him on the podcast until episode 70. He will be back on here shortly in the future, but huge shout out to him. Thank you, Dante, for all of everything that you do, to all the music you make, all the support that you've made of the podcast. It doesn't go unnoticed. You've been one of my day ones. best friends, and I truly do appreciate you for everything that you've done for this podcast. Shout out Connor Buxton and Leo Supplements, Leo Supplements. If you want to, a little something something from Leo Supplements, then head on over there and then use the promo code Roughnecks, and you'll get 10% off your order. Go ahead and head over there, check out what they got. Robbie Speaks for coming on 3 times in like less than a month, or one. I guess he made two appearances, but we split his episode up into two. So how to shout out to him. Awesome content, great content. Love his stuff. Love what he's doing. I definitely will have him on more in the future. But those are some of the people that I'd like to give a shout out to. I'm sorry if I didn't get to everybody, but I didn't want to go through 100 episodes of guests, and they're not all guests, but a lot of them are. But I just thank you to all my guests, because without you guys too, like you guys, people listening wouldn't listen. And so I really appreciate everybody who's came on the podcast. If you ever have a guest idea, shoot it over to my email, which is info at roughneckspodcast.com. That's my personal email. If you guys ever have an email for me, send it over to that. If you have a question for Q&A Friday, send it over to roughneckspodcast@gmail.com. But if you guys ever have a guest idea, let me know. Message me on social media as well, or whatever. I'm always open for guest ideas. I pretty much take anybody, as long as you have something to offer. And or if you want to be a guest, I'll as well email me or message me. But I don't even know what to say, because I still kind of am in shock. Like, as I'm recording this, I'm sitting here like kind of reminding myself, like I can see on the screen, the list of my episodes, and I have, episode 99 right there, the last one with Kyle Gibson, Gibby. And I'm like 100 episodes, 100 episodes. I never thought that this podcast in a sense started for fun, kind of a joke in a way. It was not planned to go like this, but I can promise you guys it's not done. Like, we got big things planned. We got a lot coming. Eventually maybe we'll have a storefront. That's something on the list. Eventually we might have the golf outing that me and Clayton talked about in Hold My Beer episode 96. We have a lot of good things planned. This podcast isn't done. And I appreciate each and every one of you for listening to any episode. If you listen to one episode, I don't care. That means a lot to me. That means the world to me. So every episode you listen to, I truly do appreciate it. You guys are truly the best fans. I cannot complain about my fans. I cannot complain about everybody who's helped the podcast out. If you have helped the podcast, if you bought merch, if you've, talked to me, if you've made an influence on my life, whatever it is, as you're listening, I'm sure I know you. Probably most of you who are listening, like, we have a personal connection. And if we don't, like, you still mean a lot to me. But I just truly do want to say thank you to each and every one of you. You guys, I don't even know exactly what to say. The only thing I can get out is thank you, because I just don't even, it's crazy. We are at 100 episodes into this podcast, and I couldn't be more grateful to have like such loyal fans, such awesome people behind the podcast, and everybody helping out, and awesome guests, awesome conversations that I got to have. It's all thanks to you listening. So I truly do appreciate you guys. That's kind of really all I have for today's episode. I know maybe you guys were thinking something big for episode 100. Maybe episode 150 or 200. I don't know. We'll get something big, or we don't really need a mile marker. This is just the point in time to say thank you, I feel like, because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be where we're at. So I don't think we need some big shebang every time, but I would have liked to do something real cool. It originally was supposed to be mom and dad, but you can blame Dennis and Terry for not wanting to come on the podcast. Not quite yet. We will get them on. We will get them on. It will happen. But I truly do appreciate you guys. That's really all I got today. But don't forget though, those stickers, the limited edition stickers are out at 4:00. Go grab you some. Truly do appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the support. And until Monday, you guys know the deal. Life is hard and is going to knock you down just like a bull does to a bull rider. But don't let that bull of life walk all over you. Get up, grab the damn bull by the horns, and take control of your life. Roughnecks, out.